shit. This ain't a dream, we really live this shit. Don't intervene, yo, we with this shit. That's where the most high, we the most lit.
Hey!
Hey, yo!
We are back.
Good evening, everybody.
How y'all doing?
You two crazy cats.
Yeah,
I'm all right, man. Had a nice snooze this afternoon. Well needed.
You know, it's nothing like a good snooze, right? I rarely can pile up good sleep, so I really appreciate little cat naps that I can get here and there. And I never that's how I know I'm tired, right? Because then I'll just wake up, I'm on the couch, fell asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're dreaming too, like you're deep.
Yeah,
so it's
I'm
like
doing
you fall
shit in my
back
dreams.
fast.
Real shit.
Alex, how you feeling today?
Oh,
brother?
I'm doing good. We're super busy getting ready to smoke and talk about one. I mean, this movie, I'm not going to say it's like my childhood or anything, but man, this movie was on TV so much. I've seen this movie.
I'll say it's my childhood.
100 times, easily.
This is one of those ones when I saw it on a sleepover on one of my cousins, you know what I mean? And then I continued to rent that motherfucker over and over again.
Once again, I'm left in the dark. I never even heard of the film, but I know Phoebe Cates though.
Yeah,
I do know her.
I mean, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, she was showing the little itty bitties. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she had that iconic walk out of the pool, right?
Oh, yeah.
In slow-mo.
That song?
She was every childhood boy's dream. For decades, right? For you guys, for me, and before me.
She was such an iconic scene. And when did that movie come out? I mean, that movie
1980, I think.
84.
84, yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yeah.
I challenge you. I think it was,
it was 90?
No, I think it was earlier. I think it was 82, 81.
No way. I thought it was 90.
Okay, no. Okay, it was earlier. It was 82, not 84.
Wow.
There we go. Oh, yes. I got
it. Give him a ding. Hit him with a ding.
Actually, I'm usually good with dates for some reason. The date's stuck in my head. It's 82.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you guys were like amoebas back then. Not even amoebas. You guys, not even zygotes. Nothing. You guys didn't exist. So, have you ever thought about this? What were you doing? Think about what it was like before you were born. Like what your existence.
You know what's funny is I feel like internally, subconsciously, I remember all my past lives.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it, yeah.
Here we go.
But it's always foggy, because whenever you feel like you've been somewhere, you can't deny that feeling.
I'm on live, man.
Or someone and you really never met them, or weird kind of feelings.
I mean, I feel like I feel like I feel that with all my online buddies.
Yeah,
like Huss and you now, Nelly, and you know what I mean, and like I've actually met Huss or my man JD and Kev in the physical realm as well. But I don't feel not as close to Peacock or Spencer or any of the other guys that I haven't yet to meet yet. You know what I mean? Because we've been rocking for so long. And I feel like in our past lives somewhere we've rocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think you're connected. They say you're connected somehow spiritually through energy,
find each other,
past families, and all that stuff. Clusters of.
I mean, what do they say? The 6th degree of separation, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, but because you guys know me, that means you know Diddy. Because through 6th degree of separation, I've met Diddy. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure through okay, look at I met Cameron and all of them now through Nelly. Through 6th degree of separation, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Think of how big and giant the world is, and how many of us on here, right? And if we all just keep reincarnating and stuff like that, the 6th degree of separation never goes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's cool to think that even if you go a year ago, right? If you just take two arbitrary people, and you said, okay, those people are going to meet 10 years from now at this point in time. But you can't do that. But that's how it works, though.
Pretty much.
Someone could have picked out us three.
I mean,
you guys are doing a podcast. Like, come on, get out of here. But then we're doing it.
Think about this. Right? Me and Huss, you know what I'm saying? He was playing fantasy before me. I started playing a couple years later, or maybe 6 years later. So that put me on the path to meeting him, right? Somewhere along those ways, You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was for Hus, but for me, it was like 2009. I remember distinctly. That was when I first saw Paid in Full. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little late on Paid in Full. And I swear it had such the impact, especially when like, because during that time I was going to, we were going to New York and all that shit, like doing business and stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Like, then the next time I went to New York and then we were in Harlem, and I'm like, hey, yo, B, like talking to the homies out there. You feel me? Like, I felt like, I'm like, oh shit. Now, like, I didn't know the rich history, but now I know it. And I'm like, wow, so nostalgic. You know what I mean? Like, and you were a part of that movie. So, like, and it's, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, I'm putting you on a timeline of how we met you. You know what I mean? Like, because of me and Hus. And we didn't even know we had this affinity for the movie Paid in Full until it came up in conversation. You know what I'm saying? When we were talking about doing this movie thing, like Paid in Full was one of those. Oh, we're for sure doing that one.
Yeah.
Not knowing that all the while Marty has been like rocking with us already. And then when we do Paid in Full,
my brother Marty, right?
Way, yeah, your brother Marty.
Yeah.
Like, hey, by the way, my brother, it was in that movie.
And my reaction, of course, is no fucking way. No way.
You know what my reaction was? Do you remember what my reaction was?
No.
Of course he is.
It's got to be somebody's brother. Might as well be.
I said, make the fucking phone call. But yeah, but check this out. Silver Screen Breakdowners. We got Drop Dead Fred.
This movie came out in 1991. $6.7 million budget. I don't know where all that went. Maybe Nelly will know. And box office, almost 15 mil. So I guess it close to doubled up their budget. But this was one of those ones that was definitely a flop, like in the movie theater. And I mean, kind of since became a cult classic. It's crazy. Like, you can't even go out there. They didn't even press this movie anymore. To go out and get the DVD, you got to spend like $50, or something like that.
It's like the Book of Eli, bro. It's like the Book of Eli. There's actual versions of me telling the story of Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
And they sell it because that's how hard it is to find this motherfucker.
What up, Hurst? Thanks for joining in on Silver Screen Breakdown's YouTube channel. If you guys are listening on the podcast or on the Hustler Network, make sure you go subscribe to the Silver Screen Breakdown's YouTube channel and podcast.
Yeah, we are podcasting live, simulcasting from all different kind of platforms. Man, shout out to everybody that's rocking with us.
Phoebe Cates. Now, this is a very different role than Fast Times at Ridgemont High, definitely. I love the way that the movie starts. It's not Phoebe Cates, but it's like, her as a younger girl. And the mom's reading a bedtime story. And it's just so and they lived, and the prince and the princess lived happily ever after. And she was like, how do you know that they lived happily ever after? And the mom was like, well, if the princess was a bad girl, the prince just would have left her. And her response is, what a pile of shit.
And that's how it starts. Like, hey, this could be a good movie.
And it was the classic 90s credits animated, right?
Yeah, I didn't like those credits, man.
I mean, but that's how it was in the late 80s and 90s and early 90s.
True.
Man, everybody did an animated like little 3-minute joint. Like that's just what they did back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like the what's it called?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and
Jinx.
And I mean, there was a gang of them, and the list goes on. Like I hate that I can't think of any else right now off the top of my head, but man.
All right, Nelly, let's
get Tim Burton stuff.
You know nothing about this movie when you're going in, and now all you get is the what a pile of shit. Scene.
Yeah, I tell you, it was an emotional roller coaster. That film was. It wasn't the film itself. It was like, what is this thing? This is like a Disney. What do you guys have me watching? But I started off with this. She go, oh, this is a pile of shit. I go, okay, we're starting off good. And then Phoebe Cates, and then just like the first 10, 50 minutes, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. What is it? This is Disney, right?
This was
and
not.
And then there's a couple of things that start happening. I go, okay, this is all right. And then it's like, okay, no, this is weird. This is like, what is going on? Like, I feel like while I'm watching a Disney film, and even I was watching with my neighbors. Saying, yeah, this is a Disney show. I go, no, the little girl already said that. That's a hunk of shit. So I don't think it's Disney.
Right.
But then later on, it seemed like it was. Even the music, like
the Mega Bitch.
I'm like, man,
It was
wasn't sexy at all. She was like playing a nerd.
no.
So I'm like, so how is this like a good film? So I'm watching it. And then I had to start breaking down, like, okay, what actors are
It's a
good
bit
in
of
this?
I guess you
The
can call it a
characters.
coming of age story of sorts. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
Right?
Yeah, in a sense for like the girl. But there
And,
was an esoteric message that I got from it though, near the
okay.
end though.
Pray tell.
No, I could maybe say that near the end, maybe.
I
Oh,
would
okay.
say
Okay.
Like in the third
Okay.
act. There's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got from it
Yeah.
that it got a little deep. I go, oh, okay, that's what that was. And that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I will tell you that for sure that guy carried the film. If it wasn't for him,
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The
that
comedian.
would have gone nowhere if it wasn't for the genie dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fred.
Whatever it's
Come on. Drop
Imaginary
that.
friend.
Fred's the man.
oh yeah, Fred. It was a Fred. If it wasn't for
Drop
Fred,
dead
like
Fred.
that film would have been nothing.
See, like, I mean, it's crazy. So it jumps, I mean, from her being a little kid to the credits to, I think it said 21 years later, so 25, 26. However,
Because she was a 5-year-old.
yeah.
Right.
And then, I mean, we don't know what the heck is like going on. Like, if you've never watched this before, I mean, she's like, then you see her kind of look like she's spying on someone, then you end up finding out it's like her husband, and she goes in there and like,
Yeah.
almost to like say like I don't know, she's making up this big like story in her head of what she's about to say, kind of rehearsing. And as soon as she starts like about to talk to him, like he's just super smooth. Like he just starts talking to her like, no, you were right.
Charles.
One of us had to make a big move and you were the one who made it. And yeah, you told me to go live with Annabella. She's like, what? I did.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing. I was like, aren't they married? Like, what is this? Like, so that even added to my confusion a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. They never, I mean, they referenced the dad, right? Like her having a dad when she was younger.
And they show in the flashbacks.
Yeah, right. And then but then he's gone. Obviously, he's died, right? And like,
no, he left.
So,
skipped town on the mom.
Yeah, the mom was brutal.
Oh yeah, straight up.
One of those modern women of today's age, the modern woman.
Yeah.
And back in the days too. See, back in the days, you could just leave the family, bruh. If you was a dad, and you go to the next county and start another family, and they'll never fucking know it, bruh.
Yeah.
Well, that part they'll never know that part, but now they still leave they leave easier now. But that part you would never know. Now everyone knows shit, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying I did preference it. Back in the days, they just leave. Like, you know what? I'm going out for a pack of smokes, honey.
Yeah.
And they're gone, bro.
Yeah, and you're so on point because those songs, Papa was a Rolling Stone and stuff.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, I heard he had another family, or he just disappeared, or I'd see him once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You always see that. Even at Close Range with Sean Penn, that movie, they got stuff like that. Like
you
he
see
just
a guy
appears.
they do a double take. I thought I saw dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a guy that looked like him. Yeah.
And now you saw your dad on social media somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's no mystery anymore.
Right.
Yeah, but it was just kind of crazy because you see the different what it does psychologically as you grow up. You know what I mean? So in this case, this broad, you know what I mean? Imagine that. She never had nobody to confide in. See, one thing you forgot to mention is that they locked away Fred. She taped up Fred away, right?
Well, we haven't even started. We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
Slow your roll, Bogey.
The only thing that we know about her so far is she's gone through it. There's obviously drama with the guy. And I mean, she even starts not chasing him necessarily, but following her in the car, following him in the car. And she was like, I don't even remember what she says, but he's like, I'm not going to we're not just going to never see each other again. We've been together 2 years. And she was like, it's been 3 years.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then he drives off. She goes to a payphone, and while she's at the
I was just about to mention that. Yeah,
talking to her friend, venting to her friend, she leaves her purse right there. Someone pulls out a hammer, breaks her window, jacks the purse, and then someone comes along and then gets in her car and jacks the car. And just while she's supposed to be on lunch break from work.
Yeah, and so me at this point, not knowing nothing about the film, like, what is this film? This is that's so stupid. Now she got no car. Like, where's this story gonna go? And then he drives down the street, and then my next thought is like, I wonder what city this is. Like, where are they shooting this film? Like, where they shooting the film? Because I was like, man,
Yeah, where
this
are they? Are
is
they in like
ridiculous.
Seattle or something?
I was like, I thought it was Portland. I go, this is Portland. I'm trying to figure out where they're shooting. Because I was being disengaged. I was like, this is crazy, man. So it was up and down. Anyway, go on, Alex. Go on.
Then she makes it back to her job, and she works in a courthouse. She's like a court reporter, and like they're waiting for her to like start the trial or whatever they're doing. And she was like, "Yeah, I lost my money, my husband, my car, and all this," and venting. Then she goes to sit down, and can you approach the bench, please? You're fired. So loses everything, like all in the span of the first like 2 minutes, like of the movie. And I think this is where we start getting a little bit more info on what's really going on, right? Because we know that she's got some issues, and then she goes and she's talking to her friend and
Carrie Fisher, by the way, playing her friend.
freaking
And she was good. I liked her character, though. I was
yeah,
good.
yeah, she was awesome.
Leah, no, was it
Leia.
Leia, yeah, Leia.
Yep.
And it was
Legend.
and it was her running into an old childhood friend after she got fired. That's pretty much what.
Yeah, what was Buddy's name?
Mickey.
Mickey, yeah.
And so he's talking about his daughter, and she was like, "Yeah, she's a handful though, kind of like you were when you were young." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, do you remember what you did to my grandma?"
Yeah, it was grandma. All that paint was thrown on her.
Yeah, and she was like, "I didn't do that." And he was like, "Yeah, you said that back then too. You said it was Fred." And she was like, "Oh, drop dead Fred." And then that's where we get the first drop dead
She
Fred.
hadn't heard that in years, probably.
Yeah, she had a big smile on her face too.
She probably had
knew
suppressed the memory of Fred for so long. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, just imagine, we'll talk about it later as we get to it, but it was such a traumatic experience for her losing her imaginary friend that, yeah, she's pretty much still 5 years old. I mean, you look at the way, like, she dresses, she's in, like, a goofy, nerdy, like, floor-length dress, like her mom dressed her or something, and,
Yeah, totally, like, yeah, totally whack.
How did she lose him, though, back when she was 5 or 6 or whatever?
Well, we're gonna get to it.
Are we getting to that? Okay.
Yeah, we'll just skip ahead a little bit because she goes back to her mom's house, and like the mom just says she's got to stay there. Like the mom's just been controlling her entire life.
And it even kept the room intact, and like, you know what I mean, just like kind of like still views her as the little girl that stayed in that room, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, and so she finds it's a Jack in the Box that you see tape on it. And
that's right. Yeah.
Later, we find out it's the mom who taped it up, and like the reason the dad left is because the mom was trying to force him to like tape up the box and tape the imaginary, friend away or whatever, and that's why he actually left. And so she,
because remember he lives in the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
she forgot all about
the little kid, the little girl, endearing, so adorable. The little girl actor.
Well, she was great. I think she was in like Matilda or like Mrs. Doubtfire or something.
And you know what's crazy? It's like it reminds me of my daughters when they were at age, like super witty and super like, I mean, they weren't cursing or nothing like that, but you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy years later because I actually watched that with my oldest when she was young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was a good. She played the part well. She was good.
Heck yeah. And so it's crazy when when Phoebe Cates gets back to her mom's house, and she's like, now she's thinking about drop dead Fred, like something she hadn't thought about in 25 years or 21 years, whatever it is. And she asked the mom, she was like, "Do you remember like that I had an imaginary friend when I was younger or when I was little?" And she was like, "No, I don't remember that." And she was like, "Really? You don't remember?" And she was like, "No, I don't remember drop dead Fred."
Oh, she was trying not, because she was trying to, she probably spent years of trying to suppress, enforce the suppressed memory. You know what I mean?
Well, and like, okay, let's just jump into it a little bit because a big and what up, Crispy?
What up, Dad?
Bakes a lot in the house. What up?
What up, Bakes?
I mean, a big storyline in this movie is her like going to the doctors, and just having an imaginary friend in general. To the mom, she's insane, right? Like she says it multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah, see, it's because it was also the '90s, so they're a little more insensitive. But yes, mental health. That's what she was assuming she was.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is something that we're going to be, talking about throughout the movie. Did Fred exist? Was he real? Or is she just clinically insane? Like that's going to be one of the things that we're going back and forth on a lot. And it all starts with her like opening up, opening up the Jack in the Box. He comes out, and she's obviously going through a traumatic experience.
He comes out bouncing around everywhere too. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you who Fred was.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you who Fred was. I gotta figure that out, man.
Because I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm on the side of magic, and there's a realm that he's an imaginary friend, but it's a realm that exists, and like the imagination is an actual realm that the kids have. And and this is where their imaginary friends live. You know what I mean?
Well, more on the lines of like little monsters, maybe.
Yes,
I mean,
like
little monsters.
There's a fucking interdimensional motherfucker. Listen, that's how I always took it. I'm sticking with it.
I once had this employee. This is back in like 2016, 2017, and I asked her once. They go, "Hey," I won't say her name. Like, "Hey, did you used to have a like imaginary friend when you were a kid?" She goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I know you. I know you types. But how I figured it out though is she would like almost talk to herself or mumble under her breath, right? I caught her a few times. Like she's like talking. She said like, I'm thinking, did you say something? She goes, no. Okay. Thought nothing of it. Then weeks goes by or months even. And then I would just catch it, but I wouldn't bring it up to her. And then one time I just said, hey, did you have an imaginary friend? She goes, yeah. I go, yeah, it just seems like you talk to yourself every now and then. But it's all right. It's cool. I just notice these things.
Hey, she could be schizophrenic for real.
What's that?
She could be schizophrenic for real. You know what I mean?
No, she was the most normal chick you'd ever meet, though.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she couldn't be like on, she could have be on meds that control it. Like, I mean, I'm just saying because my girl works with in mental health for hella years, and like, you know what I'm saying. And before I knew in depth about mental health and different, like, the different layers, bro. Like, I just think they were just crazy people. You know what I mean? But it's like, you'll see them, man, you know what I mean, like out in public, and like, you know what I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, like schizophrenics they're the ones that be talking to themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it looks like they're talking to themselves. They're talking.
Yeah, their conversations are so, not that my employers was, but their conversation can be so real that they gotta be talking to something that we just can't see. Because how do you have a conversation just with yourself like that?
Here's the thing. Say like it was real and we knew it to be real because someone said it was fact. It was proven somehow, one way or another, right? People wouldn't second guess it. But when you can't explain it away, they go, "This person's crazy." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when when I smoke DMT, bro, you know what I'm saying? You go to other realms. Where I go, other people went to the same place. You know what I mean? We don't just have this same exact vivid description of something. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to a place. So I believe, you know what I mean? Like you get what I'm saying though?
Hey, if you do DMT with someone else, would you have the same? Do you have the experience together on the same DMT dimensional plane?
Fuck yeah!
Like you're with that person, right? Or are you?
It's not like I'm looking
by yourself.
It's not like I'm looking over and I see this person out there with me. Or unless if I do, they might look different. Maybe the representation is different. Maybe their avatar in this realm is different. You know what I mean?
When you're talking about that girl,
but before I don't want to take us too off the rails. Go ahead.
Right, when you were talking about that girl, Nelly, it made me think of Fresh Prince. Hillary, I forget who she was talking to. She was like, yeah, I never had any imaginary friends. She was like, I just played with Carlton's imaginary friends, and they were such losers.
That's hilarious.
But she was also a dumbass, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, she's funny.
Like it was in her character to be dumb or ditzy or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
So, Drop Dead Fred is now on Phoebe Cates' mind, and she finds the Jack in the Box and everything, but kind of by the window seal. And then she like wakes up and like the Jack in the Box starts like spinning itself, and then like she turns the light on and then she takes off the tape and then he just comes, flying out. Now the thing that's crazy, I know this is kind of going forward a little bit, but we've seen him kind of like transport himself from place to place, even
Teleportation. Yep.
yeah, even if it's in the exact same room, but like him just disappearing and then ending up in
Mhm.
a different spot. How come he couldn't do that? And how come he couldn't get out of the jacket?
Because I guess that's his. I see. That's the thing, though. You got to have the magic aspect. If there is like a genie in the lamp esque thing going on here, he's trapped in there. Hence, like because it's taped up, or maybe you had to. You get what I'm saying? You had to wind
They
it and
still
stop
need to watch this movie on weed.
right?
And Herb said he's never seen this movie. It's an old school movie. It's one you had to
It's
watch.
hella dumb. You'll love it.
You got me thinking. I'm thinking about that scenario what you just presented, Alex.
I mean, I
I
know
mean,
that
it's like a realm of reality, right? Maybe he's got more power in this reality because this reality is
I
more
mean,
malleable to him.
if it's all in her mind, let's go with that.
right?
If it's all in her mind, when she gets there, she hadn't thought her drop dead friend in a minute till Mickey brings it up, right? And then she goes, maybe what they're not saying is all the thousands of hours of therapy that she probably went through as a kid,
Yeah.
and trying to make sure she forgets who dropped dead
I
friend
know the
is,
mom points out that somewhere in the movie where she
right?
like,
And then so here's her going back to where it all started. Now she's as a grown adult and like kind of picking up where she left off. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If it's all in her mind. You know what I
And
mean?
like
Otherwise, in my version, it's because she went back and he's like, bitch, why the fuck you leave me stuck in that motherfucker the hell alone? You know what I mean?
and seeing
Remember
like
first he said, Snow Face. What happened to you?
you got uglier.
And he truly loves her too. He truly loves her. And I'll tell you why in
Like
the third
he's
act.
like the only
He
one who
truly
has
loves
her
her.
best interest. He's
Huh?
truly the only one who has her best interest. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, yeah, but even though he wreaks havoc on people around her.
Yeah, because fuck those people though. See, I feel him though. He's like,
Well,
you know
well,
what?
he
It's Snow
mentioned
Face.
it.
You don't need them.
She mentions it to Mickey. I can't remember if it's at the beginning or when they have their little lunch or whatever, that he would always come around. She was like, he would always come around when my mom was, well, you know. She doesn't
Yeah,
like say it,
crazy.
but yeah, I mean, pretty sure her
Oh,
mom
when she
beats her and ties her up and like all types of shit. You know,
Yeah,
to
remember? The mom was crazy, bro.
this
yeah,
was like he was like a protective angel per se,
almost.
of sorts.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna go in the third act. That's what it's all
Remember
about.
they gave him a perpetual glow in the end, remember?
Yeah.
Oh no, kind of like the guy that
Like a
off the Lord of the
heavenly
Rings.
perpetual light. Remember, they kind of,
Yeah.
I'm skipping ahead, but we'll get to it. Get back to
Now
it.
here's one of the things where this comes down to, like Bogey says, magic or insanity. Like maybe that's what it could be. Magic or
There it
insanity.
is.
Because now Fred gets all excited, like, oh, we're adults now. Now we could do adult. Now we could make adult havoc, happen. And so then they go downstairs. She's barefoot and in like some old school nightgown. And Fred
Oh,
goes outside. We see him come in on a handstand and then jumps right over into the carpet where no one's supposed to go. And he's got dog poo all over his feet, starts smearing it all over the carpet, all over the white couch, and everything. I guess if he really wasn't there, how did she get all the shit everywhere? Because she didn't have shoes, wasn't on her hands or anything.
because he was there. He was there.
See, that's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the whole movie was congruent that way, right? Because there's certain
Yeah.
things that he would do that it would have to he would have to have been there, at least I was gonna say physically, but at least apart from her,
Yeah.
how he's doing these things and stuff.
Yeah. It's and like you said, it's not really congruent all the way through because I mean they do go into little phases of that and then back and forth. And the next morning she wakes up and she goes downstairs. The mom's like cleaning, everything. And I mean it's like, was he really there? Like I think even to herself, like she's like still trying to figure it out. Is he really there? Was this a dream? And then of course she sees him pop back up. And he sees
Yeah.
the mega bitch, and it's the first time we ever hear her referred to as the mega bitch.
Yeah, so that wasn't the time when there's he saw cobwebs,
Yeah, yeah, that was
right? He's sliding underneath her skirt, her dress.
Cobwebs, and Phoebe Cates just starts dying.
No, the cobwebs. He saw cobwebs per se, like she wasn't wearing underwear, or was it that she wasn't getting any play?
I'm assuming it's that she's like,
Which the first
disgusting
and
old
second?
mega bitch that nobody, would ever have sex with.
Yeah, right. She's getting no play.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, but then I heard like my neighbor was saying that was the other way around. I go, well, I never thought of that, but that could be true too.
And
Maybe
Crispy
she just
said never
wasn't
seen this movie either. Yeah, Crispy. I mean, this movie came out in 1991, so yeah, I would assume like grown adults weren't like,
clamoring to it.
yeah,
I
exactly.
know I wasn't.
Yeah, I was 5 when this movie came out. Probably 6, maybe when I've seen it. But yeah, that was definitely one of the funniest part there. Cobwebs.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
And then
There's a few one-liners in the film. I'll give it that.
the physical comedy keeps up where, the mom opens the door to the refrigerator and, he's like, oh, what's in here? And like, she shuts the door on his head and then he like pulls out his head. He's got the long neck and the flat face and all that. So they're doing goofy stuff.
Yeah, he had that flat face like the Family Guy's kid.
Yeah.
The football head.
Yeah, exactly.
He kind of sounded like that kid. Maybe that kid was fashioned from him. You never know.
Maybe.
He was obnoxious. They sound similar.
Yeah.
And you know those kids that do those voiceovers for those kids cartoons, they're adults.
Oh yeah, for sure. They could just make their voices,
You know, with Bart Simpson, it's a woman, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the thing. You don't think it's a woman, but it's a woman playing its voice. You know, Bart Simpson and Sam Bogey.
Yeah.
And then
you can tell whenever you hear the Bart Simpson laugh, then you can tell it's a woman because, like, you know what I mean? It kind of has that little, you know what I mean? Maybe because I know it's a woman, I can always tell when I hear the laugh. Maybe I'll say that now. But yeah, Bart, the guy who does Homer, he does Dr. Hibbert, he does
Smithers,
Skinner as well.
Skinner, yeah, Skinner.
You know what I mean? Like, you could tell, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
There's a Nelson character on that show.
Yeah. Hit the drop.
He's not,
yeah.
but he's not cool though.
No, I love Nelson.
Is that from Nelson?
He's an asshole. I love
beautiful.
him, bro.
He's repping me well.
He's a fan favorite for me.
Oh, for sure.
So Bogey, so that sound effect, is that him?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So here on these podcasts I listen to, they use these sound effects, and that's one of them. But I didn't know where they got it from.
He's the bully who laughs at everybody for everything.
I almost want you to pull up that clip. Hey everybody, it's the bully it's the kid who laughs at everyone. Let's laugh at him.
Really? I never seen that.
Yeah.
It was like they did like a Pulp Fiction style episode of Simpsons, right? And then that's one of the little storylines in there is like how Nelson he laughs at everyone, just everything he's watching, all the calamity, people falling on a skateboard. Someone fucking drops their ice cream. He's just on the corner laughing at everyone. He sees this dude driving in a small car, but he's a giant. He's basically like driving in a car like this. And he looks at him. This dude stops and gets out of the car, right? And he's the giant. You know what I mean? He's like, you laughing at me because I can't afford a regular size automobile? You know what I mean? Right? And he said, so he pulls his pants down and makes him march. No march. And he follows them in his car and he says, everybody's honking the horn, everybody. He says, wave at the people, right? He's waving.
And her said, Alex, it's the 55 sound.
55!
Classic.
Yeah. I know who that is.
So this is kind of where Team Insanity comes a little bit into play because, like, when she's talking to the mom, she's like talking to the mom, but Fred's yelling at her at the same time, and she like can't get her head straight. Like she's like answering Fred and kind of talking at the same time and stuff, and like. Yeah, she's a little bit crazy for sure, and it's probably a little bit because of Fred. And
that's the point where it started to get a little interesting when you started to see her interact when Fred is supposedly there, and then the other people are trying to react with her. Then it started to get interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was getting funny. Then they're like, okay, all right.
Oh yeah, and you were in the Matrix when we talked about the cobwebs, Bogey.
Yeah, you missed the cobwebs. That was one of the highlights. One of the highlights.
Hey,
Looking up
listen.
straights.
Okay, you gotta remember. Okay, listen. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's guys like Jim Carrey movies. This movie. A lot of my immaturity till as a grown man comes from these movies, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We never really grow up. True.
No, I'm just saying, like, the shit that is funny because he looks up and he says comments. That means nobody's fucked their ages.
Yeah. Oh, Bogey knows better which it was. It wasn't the other one.
Yeah.
And then so she
Probably ain't shaving either. So there you go. It's probably both.
Fred runs
Yeah, look.
outside, and then Phoebe Cates chases him, and then Fred just runs in the middle of the street and gets hit by a fire truck. Apparently, his shoes are still there, and then she has like a big flashback. It's like she gets these flashbacks as I mean, these are things that must be just like repressed memories that she had.
Yeah, because it's all coming back now.
Yeah, she has this repressed memory of her and Fred playing burglars in the house.
Yeah. And it always starts with him slapping her to wake her ass up.
Yeah,
Or bonking her on the head.
middle of the night.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And, like, the parents upstairs are freaking out because they're breaking shit like downstairs, and they don't even look. They just
See,
assume
so in that aspect, he was able to get out of his box whenever he wanted. Right?
Well, he
If you
wasn't
think
in
for
the-
the magic aspect.
well, he wasn't in the box at this point yet.
Well, I mean, he would. Okay, I always just figured like that was like where he would like retire to at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
No, he wasn't like a genie.
It wasn't his bed.
No.
Okay. You can see I had it all figured out in my head for years.
He would just kind of disappear. I mean, never really like. I mean, when they're adults, like she was like, let's go play hide and seek. And then like, I don't know, like he said he went out to like the shed and then like, who knows, maybe he just slept there for all the hell we know. But yeah, so they're dressed like burglars. Now they're outside. It's crazy because like, and seeing that's what I wonder. Is it Fred who's breaking the window or is it really her who found the hammer? And it was like just crashing the fucking window just so they can go outside. You know, bag of all the stuff that they stole from inside. And
I mean, it could be. So if you want to look at like the the schizophrenic like version of it, right? Here's the because when you're schizophrenic, you're gonna have delusions. You know what I mean? Like whole entire projections.
yeah,
You're not just because there's difference between having the voices and then having the full on projections and all of it. Like you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like my girl says they say audio. They call it audio. Like that means like you hear voices or like you know what I mean. You have full on projections. Like they see something there that's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But see, that's also a thing too. Is like, hey, what if like they say we only use 1/10 of our brain, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like what if like we're only seeing with our regular eyes, we're only able to see a certain thing, but if it's modified in a certain way, or your mind is modified or whatever, you know what I mean? Because also let's not.
What if it's like Fight Club? You know, where he has the projection of really him doing,
but it's him.
Everything. Yeah.
See, I like that aspect, but when stuff physically happens elsewhere too, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we'll get to it. Well, I'll point some up when we get to it. Where it's like
I don't think in this movie they really thought that much of the congruency of it because they were kind of like they weren't consistent.
Nelson, we were thinking about this since the 90s, man.
Yeah.
We still can't figure it out, man.
So these cops are freaking idiots, though. By the way, the cops who show up, so like they're banging on the door and like they're gonna try to like kick in the door, but they kick it like perfectly in the little panel where like the door just like breaks through, kind of, but they still can't.
Well, I mean, technically you're all trained to do that, but yeah, it looked hella funny as fuck.
Well, I mean, it's different. I mean, if they would have
perfect,
if he would have kicked it a foot higher like he was supposed to, the whole door probably would have kicked and opened. Instead, it's like they kicked it and then just like kicked a big ass hole like in the door itself.
Yeah, that's like it's too perfect. Like, how does he?
And the cops going upstairs all slow, and like the husband or whatever, like he like tackles the cop. Like that's the crazy thing, and then he gets like taken to jail.
Yeah.
And all that, and then It's funny because and who knows, is this Fred? Is this in her mind? Where he was like, all right, snot face, I'm gonna take the rap. He was like, when the police come, you just yell, drop dead Fred did it. And she can't get it out. She just, every time someone's going, drop dead, drop dead.
That poor little girl, she's, bro, like, it's like the little girl actor's so good, dude.
She's like, I didn't
She's
say
good.
it right.
And you know what's crazy is the way she acts is you believe it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She is telling them, drop dead Fred did this shit, and they're like, damn it, my 6-year-old is off her rocker. Hey, hold on. When they did the robbery, was this the same? Did we get to when he's like, oh, this looks like a nice pile of shit?
No, I wasn't during the robbery, right? Wasn't that before?
No, it was another, because it was in another flashback where he's like, he's like, poop on the thing, and poop on the thing. Like, you know what I mean? When you look at the footprints, they're huge.
Yeah. That was okay. Yeah. That was when you were in the Matrix, and that's why I said if it was her.
Yeah, we did mention that. Yeah.
Shoes or like something to like make this, because she wasn't wearing shoes. Like she's just in like a white dress, white like nightgown almost.
Peep, 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 peep. It was shit everywhere.
Yeah, you think they'd figure that out, put 2 and 2 together. Like, these footprints aren't real. They're like big. You got Bigfoot. We got a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah, we really just have no idea.
Where's the shoes too? I'm just.
So after she gets all sad, I didn't say it right. Then she starts looking around for Fred, and he's up in the tree. And she's like, "I thought you weren't a coward. I'm not a coward. Are they gone?"
He's part leprechaun, I think. This guy.
Yeah,
he's a genie / leprechaun /
I mean, he's a scary ass. Hey, listen, he really got love for the kid, though. You know what I mean? But he's also all the way a bitch. You know what I mean? He's like
green clothes, red hair. I mean, he's got leprechaun written all over.
Because the kid is him. He has to have love for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, leprechauns that's in their nature, right? Like the lore of leprechauns is like to like trick you, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, leprechauns aren't really your friendly creatures, are they?
No, at all.
But we kind of grew up thinking that, right?
Oh, me pot gold. You know why? Because the goddamn cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like nice
that movie,
creatures.
the Leprechaun movie. Nobody was fucking leprechaun in the hood, even, bro.
It's like honeybees, honey nut cereal with those bees and stuff. The bees are nice. They're friendly bees.
Yeah.
They'll sting you.
Totally.
Bees will get you, bro.
So what did you think, Nelson? So right after she has this little flashback, she comes back to life, and the mom is like, "Come on, we're gonna be late," and then takes her for a makeover, and to look exactly like her. What did you think of that? When you saw their outfit?
Oh, I thought she looked good. I go, now we're talking. Now this is the TV states I remember. She's all right. She looked fine though. now we're getting somewhere in this film.
I'll take her and the mom.
Finally got her hair and makeup did.
Actually, the mom was attractive. The mom was good looking.
Hey, come on, Princess Leia and the gold thing. Come on,
Princess Leia's not the mom, but yeah.
Huh? Oh no, Carrie Fisher. Never mind.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, she was the friend.
Her character, she played it well. She was hilarious.
I thought you were talking about, my bad, I forgot who you were talking about. The mom. Oh yeah, she had to make over to look like the mom. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly like the mom.
Yeah, the mom. I don't like her personality, but she looked good.
And that part was a little messed up though, when they come home and there's the letter and it's from Charles, but it's really, and that's another thing, right? Like,
hey, Fred wrote the letter to fuck with her.
I guess that's where the magic would come along, right? Because she didn't really write a letter to herself and like leave it in the mail somehow. It was on the ground.
And unless she has these blackout spells or something where like she's Fred doing things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible, guys.
I mean, that's how you would have to think. You got to think from the psychological aspect, because the reason I say the magic, because it explains it the easiest, bro. I'm not a religious person, but if you read the Bible, it sounds like a crock of shit unless you believe in magic and aliens, and you're like, oh, it makes total sense.
Yeah, the only way magic is like there's no limits to magic.
Fuck no, this motherfucker is okay. Look, okay, so you at least know he bamboozled her.
Bamboozled her. She's all pissed, like, because thinking that it was Charles, and now she's super freaking out. and she goes to Carrie Fisher's house, and which is a houseboat. And I think that's a good place to wrap up Act 1. Kind of build the story a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up Act 1, and we'll be back for Act 2. If you're listening to this on podcast, Act 1 drops on Monday, Act 2 drops on Wednesday, and we're always recording this live every Friday, 5 o'clock West Coast time on the Silver Screen Breakdown.
Tune in for the next episode this Wednesday. Will Drop Dead Fred reveal himself to be magical? What is Carrie now at the houseboat? Will Carrie Fisher's character knock some sense in her? Tune in next time.
And Nelly Dell, let them know where to find you and follow you.
You can find me on Instagram, Nelson Tynes, or on YouTube. Demo reels and scenes, party scenes and non-party scenes, a compilation, manipulation, and demonstration.
So we'll see you guys for Act 2.
Later.
Silver screen, motion picture shit. This ain't a dream, we really lit this shit. Don't intervene, yo, we with this shit. That's where the most high, we the most lit.